What do we have? First rates coming up in just a bit. In a few seconds from now, we'll look at it and then we'll come back and look at individual stocks. You don't have stocks opening this lower as you have indices this morning. 5% down on the Nifty, straight up 4.5 actually, 21,831. So straight off the bat, I think we are below the March lows, 21,964, and we should put that out as an alert. 21,964 was the low on the 3rd of March, and we are now opening under the March lows at this point in time. 21,900 roughly is what you have, about 1,000 points lower, 950 actually. All 50 stocks are in the red and of course varying degrees. Let's look at the other indices as well. The Nifty Bank, the mid and small cap indices, and then maybe the IT and the metals index as well. Nifty Bank, which by the way was going the other way. I think the Nifty Bank ended higher on Friday as the rest of the market sold off. Is starting down 3%. Mid cap index is down 5%, and the small cap index will come up on your screen. That is also going to be sharply lower. And by the way, the mid and small cap indices ended with just 2.5% cuts last week. Bulk of it, of course, coming in the last two sessions last week. Is 7% lower on the Nifty small cap index. 1,100 points is gone. And let's just look at the IT index and the metals index as well. And because those were the two which lost the most on Friday. Metals are down 7%. That's a sectoral heat map. Top of the list, and Nigel was just having that conversation with Amit Dikshit. 7% after Friday's, I think, near 7% cut. Nifty IT index down another 7%. Wow. I mean,
after 9% decline last week. IT.
So that is incredible. Oil and gas 5%, and look at all the other rest of the stuff which is coming up with cuts. But let's talk about stocks.
Which ones to pick? They're all down. By the way, there is a recovery. So the good news is that we were down 1,100 points. Gap down was 1,100. And now it's a cut of about 850 points. So let's look at where people are rushing for safety. Interestingly, pharma stocks are reviving, and this will not show up in this. It will show up in those intraday charts, actually. Now, it could be slightly tricky because he said that pharma tariffs are also coming. For what it's worth, Dr. Reddy's, for instance, has revived a bit. A lot of consumer stocks are seeing buying because that's where you have relative cash safety, and obviously it's all domestic. So Asian Paints, stocks like Zomato, Lever, all of these have recovered big time from their lowest opening points. It's still not positive, but this is where the quick recovery is. Nestle, ITC, these are the names. And then there are financials. Financials also becoming a bit of a hiding spot. So names like HDFC Bank, Jio Financial, from the lows, all these stocks are looking a lot better. ICICI Bank is now down just about 1%. Bharti Airtel, first Nifty stock in the green is Bharti Airtel. About 0.3% of an increase coming in on that one. HDFC Bank fighting hard, but it's still down 2%. Lever fighting hard, still down 1.5%. So pharma, beg your pardon, FMCG and financials, that's where the rush to safety is. But look at the global facing stocks. Tata Steel, 10%. Infosys, 10%. Tata Motors, 8.5%. We all knew about JLR. I mean, sort of explained the math, and it's not looking good for JLR's immediate future. So these stocks are all down in a big way. By the way, Trent is not following the rest of the trend with the consumer stock recovery. Trent is still down 10%. So this is where the deep cuts are. L&T is still down about 7% or so. Tough morning. 960, 970 still down on the Nifty.
Well, that's right. On the Nifty Bank, just one word. At around this 50,000 odd mark, we've opened at around the 20 DMA. On a closing basis, you'll want to defend that mark because now we're down close to around 3% or thereabouts. Even the 100 DMA is coming around this vicinity. The Nifty, well, we have broken the recent lows and we have visited the lows that we saw on the counting day. That's on the 4th of June, 2024. So this is the lowest level we have hit since the 5th of June, to be precise. Actually, we started a little below that. So we made the lows all the way in June 2024 or thereabouts. The breadth of the market is absolutely dismal as we speak. The Nifty is holding around this 22,000 odd mark or thereabouts. The Nifty Bank, that needs to fight for the bulls. That's been the case in the last few trading sessions. But today, that's coming for some selling. We'll have to keep an eye out on the FISL number by the end of today. And the India VIX, I was saying it was well behaved over the last few days. It was up only around 8%. Maybe the street was working with there could be some kind of a deal over the weekend or some kind of positive commentary. That's the fear index. That pops up close to around 50% as we speak.
So yeah, It's a long list. Should I count? I don't think there's any point because there is. I think I can see at least on my screen. I've sorted the losers by volume. There isn't much volume on the downside, by the way, to be sure, right? In terms of single stocks, but it's a long list of 10% plus. I can spot at least 25 stocks, sorted by volume, which are down over 10% at this point in time. The meaningful volume right out of the gates is in actually it's just 4-5 names. Maybe things will pick up. But Tata Steel, Trent, Bharat Forge, Anantraj, this Sarda Engineer is down 12 on volume. Never comes up at least at this point. Zensar Tech, Nava, Car Trade. That's it. These are the 5-6 names which have got decent sized volumes coming through at this point in time. Yeah. Bharati is absolutely flat. And down about 0.5% or so. But other than that, I mean, you kind of struggle to find stuff which is Godrej Consumer, I think, as Surabhi pointed out earlier, is kind of flattish as well. So that's the best, right? Torrent Pharma is down 3/4. So this is all India-facing businesses with little to do with, obviously, I mean, what's happening globally, the extent of what's happening will find its way through one way or the other. But in terms of direct exposure, bulk of what is flattish to slightly only small down is things with little US or global exposure. Surabhi?
Just one more thing I wanted to sort of highlight. Even some of the bluest of the blue chip stocks, even in financials, are not being spared. Look at Chola Finance, for instance. Chola is down 10-11% right now. And within consumer also, it's not like everything consumer is going up. Trent or is being spared. Trent was one example, which is down about 10-odd%. There are other names. Look at something like a VIP clothing, 11% down. So it's not like all formats and forms of consumer is serving as a safe haven. It's pretty varied there. And just one more point. Every time the market bounces, it's being met with more sellers. It's that kind of a morning. So while we bounced to about a cut of just 830 points, again we fell. It was again a 1,000 point cut.
And then again there is buying.
I'll tell you.
But the bounces are getting sold into. I mean, that's what seems to be happening.
There's a margin trading facility, right? And that book had gone to around 90,000 crores. The last check number is around 68,000 crores. That could hold us in good stead. The last time around when we fell from the 26,000 mark to around this 22,000 mark or thereabouts, that margin trading book was much, much higher. And I think in the first couple hours of trades, there will be some positions that will be squared off, forcibly by brokers. So that's why you're seeing this sort of a selling. The hope is, as the day progresses, there will be some value buys that will come in there. So a lower margin book actually is a blessing. And hopefully that plays out as well. Because select stocks, they're down far more than what they should be. And we'll have to see how that plays out.
I think, in times like this, it's indiscriminate. I mean, people just go into self-protection mode and they just want to reduce exposure because you don't know. But the question is, as I remember this someone during COVID saying, will the market, it's going to get fixed. COVID came. Initially, we did not know whether COVID is going to get cured or not. But eventually, the realization came that, large companies are working on a vaccine. The vaccine finally came in November.
Yeah.
Market did not wait till November for things to start to repair. So if markets as collective wisdom know that something is going to get fixed, are they going to wait till the point that it's actually fixed? It's a question kind of worth sort of pondering over.
I think during COVID it was far easier because I'll tell you what, either everyone lived and the markets as well survived, or in fact everyone went down there. So when the markets fell that 25-30% globally, and that was the feedback basically you got. Either you'll make a lot of money or this world is finished.
Also, also I think COVID was different because it was all hands on deck. It was like all of humanity fighting to get things in order. Here it's, we fighting each other. But to go back to your point, Prashant, and I completely believe that this is one headline away from turning. Who knows, as Bill Ackman has been pushing and saying that just don't implement the tariffs from April 9. Give it a 60-day window. Yeah. One tweet comes and says, okay, I have a negotiating window open for 1 month. Yeah. I'm not implementing on April 9. We know what happens immediately.
Trent
right?
is falling.
I mean, some stabilities. I think, Nigel, the issue with Trent, of course, is that Trent also rallied about 15% from its recent lows. Yeah. So I think that is that. But I think we should not attribute too much in terms of reasons right now. It's indiscriminate. I mean, it's, if you go looking for reasons why this is down 10 or that is down 5, I mean, I think you're going to struggle. It is just, the market which is coming off for we know the reasons, but it's different books. I mean, 100,000 millions of participants. So, but the reason, of course, is the same. 880 points lower, 22,025 is where we're at.